What's up, YouTube? Bill Purvis, Chicken Fried Barbecue. Today we got a prime. It's a brisket. So we're gonna take this guy, trim it up, and we're gonna hit it with a little salt and pepper and put it on the pellet grill. So we're gonna cook her, I think, fat side up. We'll get her trimmed up. My daughter's here, and her boyfriend wants a little bit of brisket and some to take home to his parents. So we'll see how she does. But let me get a cutting board and we'll get to work on her. Like I said, this is a HEB Prime. It's an IBP, but it's got some great marbling. I always like to open them fat side up. That way, if I gouge it a little bit, it don't really matter. Ooh, she's got a little gash in her. See that? See that? The little butcher shop got her little gash. We'll see what we can do with that guy. And first thing we're gonna do is get some of that deckle gone. We'll come down here and kind of take that guy down a little bit, get some of that, whatever it is they seal them with in their packer plants or whatnot. But give it a little round edge right there. Got some silver skin there, so we'll just run our little slicer down through it. Try not to make any serious gouges. We're gonna rock it on the pellet grill tonight. If this was a competition, I would try to get in there and mess with that guy, but man, I don't think I'm gonna mess with it. I'm gonna leave it alone. Like I said, this is just an eating brisket. You know, these points on this side of the brisket is your point, this is your flat. Man, they got so much fat in them, especially these primes. Kind of round off some of these edges here. That's going to do it. I don't think we need to get too crazy. I think we got crazy enough. We're going to run it fat side up. Scalped it a little bit there, but like I said, I'm not too concerned about it. It's a prime. It's got plenty of fat. Try not to whittle her away next to nothing. I need to just put the knife down because I'll just keep cutting. Next thing you know, I'll have a flank steak. But yeah, that gouge isn't pretty. I'd be pissed if this is a competition brisket, to tell you the truth. Look at this sucker. I don't know if you can see that freaking gash. But yeah, we'd be pretty tore up about it if I showed up to a comp. If you're doing comps, trim your meat in advance. I'd be pretty pissed about that. But man, I'd figure out a way to make it work. I would, only need 6 or 8 slices, depending on the sanctioning body. So we'd figure out a way to make that work. This is what we're going to season with: a little HEB and some Lawry seasoned salt. So it's funny because when I first started doing competitions, man, I'd always have Lawry seasoned salt on my briskets. Man, don't ask me why, don't ask me where I learned that from or picked it up. Maybe probably people on a deer lease or something, but man, my first couple of comps, it was always salt and pepper and Lawry's, and I didn't do worth a crap. So for comp brisket, I don't know if it's the right thing, but man, it makes a great backyard brisket. So that's what we're doing today. First, we'll go down with a nice coat of HEB salt and pepper. And move our pan over to the side like that to kind of get our sides. Come back over the top. There's what we're looking at. We'll flip her over. Essentially with the same process. And there you have it. We'll get the pellet grill fired up. We'll get this thing sweating in, and we're going to stick it on there at 225. We're going to roll overnight. It is And it's almost 11 o'clock at night. My plan is probably put her on about midnight and then go to bed. Brisket's ready to wrap. So we just pulled her off 10:30 in the morning. So just kind of recap. We put it on last night about 11:30. Man, I set the temperature real low so I could go to sleep. I think I set the temperature like 220. Woke up at 7:30 this morning, cranked her up to 300, and here we are 10:30. It's got a little pooling right there, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap her. So I've got some beef broth and water mixed in right here. I'm just gonna wrap her in this pan. Pour this in here. Grab a piece of foil. Let's stick her back on. The pit's running right at 300, so it won't take long. All right, guys, the brisket's been resting for about 4 hours, so ran that internal temp all the way up to about 210. But don't let that internal temp really mean anything, because you know, I'm down here close to Houston, which is basically sea level, and you know, water boils at different temperatures depending on elevation. So one of the things I've noticed from competition is, man, if I'm in Midland, man, my brisket's not going to make it to 210. It's probably only going to be 208 or something like that. And of course, if you're in Denver, places with real high altitude, then it may be 207. Pretty barky. He's looking pretty serious. We got a little bend to her. So. Go and cut on that corner right there. That little Recteq 590 put a little smoke ring on this guy too. Yeah, she's looking pretty sick. That's my favorite part. How point. Flat was okay, you know. I mean, it's tender, but ain't nothing like this point. That point's magic. Anyway, I'm gonna scoop it back up, put it in this au jus, and we're about to eat it for dinner.